Nail or beauty school was just the beginning, right? What on earth do you do now? Welcome to the Salon Success Podcast with Monaco Nail Academy. Our topics stretch beyond nails and into all things salon related, business, marketing, and social media, and at the very least hits you with real, honest stories about our experiences. This isn't school, this is real life, real business, and really freaking hard work. Before we get started, wherever you are, thumbs up, tag a friend in the comments, or hit that share button and support small business.
And just a reminder before we get started to use my code Michal for 10% off all courses. I get a kickback from these enrollments and they're how we support the production of the podcast.
Or you can use my code Christel's Nails, which is spelled CHRISTELSNAILS.
And I don't have an affiliate code, but you can follow me over at the New Zealand Nail Comps, where we will be discussing more about that today.
Yeah, so fun. So Jerilee, I have known for about 17,000 years. From when I originally competed, but we were competing side by side.
Cool.
And Jerilee used to have the most funky, short, not quite pixie cut, but short, funky hair. And I always remember, my number one impression was how cool you were.
Oh, it's so nice.
Yeah, I knew now that I know you so much better, I was like, you would never imagine, you would appreciate that. I always just thought you were this super cool person flitting around the comps and I just thought you were really cool.
I thought you were really cool.
Thanks.
No, thank you. It's interesting because I had a period where I was in pinup, which is the hairstyle that you were talking about, beautiful pinup dresses. But honestly, I became so self-conscious that I stopped.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's so nice to now, in the future, in hindsight, just think people actually really appreciated that.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't have any impression. No, not any impression. I don't have any memory. When you say you wore pinup dresses and stuff, I can picture them, but I don't know if that's an invented memory. I just have I remember the short hair and I remember the vibe more than anything and just being like, oh, she's so cool.
Oh, that's so nice.
So we will do a full intro of all of the bits and pieces you've been doing in those 1,000 years shortly. But generally we start episodes with a quick chat about how everyone's week's been. And Christel traditionally will say some version of chaotic or busy, or one of her children has been hurt. But she has logged in with her arm in a sling. So I'm going to throw to you, Christel, and be like, WTF.
So I've done my bursitis again in my shoulder. So I'm just waiting for another steroid shot. And hopefully with proper physio this time, it won't happen again.
What is your bursitis?
It's like a thing in your shoulder. There's a muscle that runs through it or something.
Yeah.
And it's all inflamed and painful.
Do you know how you did it?
Originally, I just twisted weird.
Oh, yeah.
But I think mostly this time it's that the cortisone injection from last time wore off because it sort of slowly progressed in pain level until it became quite excruciating last week.
I just sleep funny and my shoulder goes all sore for ages.
Oh, yeah. Mine does it too.
And this is proof for all of the Michal as a teenager conspiracy theorists that no, she's as old as the rest of us. Christel, nails wise, how was your week?
Pretty good. I did a kid's birthday party on Saturday.
Fun.
6 kids all got their nails done, and then I had another client during the week.
Any progress with your? Well, you called it admin last time, but you're trying to tick off the last of your qualification.
I'm getting there. I've done all my e-file modules, so now I just need to pass the assessment. And I've been working my way through the nail art modules. So,
what's your goal this week?
Probably get all my expenses into my Henry account so that's all ready for end of month.
That sounds so fun. I love that. Michal says fun to the kids' party, and I'm like, that sounds like literal hell, but let me play with your Henry.
See, I'm more with Michal on that one.
You can have the kids' parties. Been there, done that. No, thank you. Not enough money in the world.
I'm surprised parents would pay like for that, because if I was a parent, I wouldn't. It's so expensive.
It's because you can do it for free.
I think it's also kind of like part of the, well, I don't know, from the ones I've done a million years ago, it's part of the, I don't know, bougie experience. The kids all want to be grown-ups, and it's a like fun, safe way that you can let them be grown-ups without letting them be grown-ups.
Yeah.
What
I
about
just give them my price, and then I'm just like, oh, you can just go buy some nail polish yourself and do it.
That's the thing, right? Is like back in the day, the last time I did one of them I did was in a school hall. It was like 50, 60 kids. There was stations set up. Like this was a very well-off family and a very extroverted, community-focused mum who like was just the epitome of what we refer to as a queen bee. And I sat in a corner and I did just kid after kid after kid after kid, and it was a flat fee, but then every like second kid came back 2 minutes later because they'd just smudged their polish doing one of the other activities.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was a flat fee. But now I'd be like, I have said, like maybe last year I got asked if I would do it for a kid who comes and sits quietly with her mum pretty regularly for her birthday party. And I was like, no, it's just not worth. Like, I'm like, I cannot leave my house, pack everything up, go to you, like set it up, do the nails, pack it up again, come back, set it back up for a price that feels fair to you. So I just can't, I can't do it. What about you, Michal? How's your week been?
My week has been pretty good. I actually got a phone call on Friday from people that want me to come and work for them in science.
Oh,
And it would be a casual contract just for 3 months until like the end of the science financial year. And it would be sitting at a microscope doing IDs of species, which is what I wanted to do more of at my last job. They just wouldn't let me. So that was kind of exciting. And I choose my own hours, choose pretty much my own pay. And so I asked them for a lot of money. But they got approved. So I'm just waiting for the contract to be written up.
incredible.
Yeah.
How many hours a week is it?
So I have said I could do 3 days a week. And then, like, I would just do Monday to Wednesday and then have 2 days in salon.
Exciting.
Yeah, so fun.
Yeah. And it will help bring in some money for renovations.
The never-ending pot.
Mm-hmm.
Jerilee, I don't know, like, the format, if I should introduce you first, but I'm not going to. What was the highlight of your week last week?
Oh, I launched the nail comps and I kind of did it a little messy, which old sort of perfectionism me would have died. And I sat there and I watched live people waiting for registration to open, and then sold tickets, people backing themselves and entering within 10 minutes of registration opening.
That gives me goosebumps.
It was amazing. And I was by myself in this room. And
Yeah.
I was the girls, my children were probably hearing me. I was like, this is amazing.
So cool.
Thoughts into things, guys.
Yeah, that's so cool. Okay, so comps takes us to like the spoiler alert end of the story, but when did you qualify? How long have you been a nail tech?
Oh, I started my training, I think maybe 2011, 2012, but it took me a little bit to get the actual qualification because I was pregnant at the time, and then obviously had a baby, and then decided now's the time I better get the qualification. So I'd been practicing for maybe 2 years before I sat the official certification.
So did you do like lessons?
Oh, I watched so much YouTube. Like way back then it was Neo Nails. Acrylic was huge, so there was no gel polish around. So
Yes.
Gelish hadn't quite launched that. Maybe shellac could have been, but
Shellac was out for sure, but it was not what it became.
Not at all. Like I was still using lacquer on clients. So
yeah, like literally 2011. Yes, 2011 because it's when Monaco started. But I went to Europe, so I had a normal start to my year, spent the middle of the year in Europe, and then started Monaco when I got home. And I remember just before I left, I was in the house that I was in before I went to Europe, and someone was like, yeah, but do you have shellac? And having been an art student, I was like, ooh, why would you want that? Because shellac is a glaze made from crushed up beetles. And I was like, what? Why?
Or furniture.
Yeah, why would you do that? And then, but that was back in the olden days, before basically any social media. I didn't have Facebook. I had a personal Facebook, but I started my nails Facebook while on that Europe trip, like on a tiny mini laptop in Italy. So I had no social media, and the only way that you got new products or information was if they sent it to you snail mail, or a sales rep came to your house.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't know what shellac is.
Yeah. And then when gel polish hit, and then everybody was calling it shellac, but actually shellac is a completely different formulation to a gel polish.
Yeah.
It's just like its own little
It's like the gel polish predecessor.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then later came in like hybrid gels, and then we're like, okay, but that came out first, right? Like, that's kind of closer to like when things like Vinylex and stuff started coming out. You're like, okay, but this is actually kind of related to shellac. Like, this is what you started with.
Yeah.
They just named it different because you stopped buying it.
Marketing at its best.
Yeah. Which I think like a lot of people don't really put two and two together, that like shellac is not a pure gel polish. It is a hybrid gel polish. And then you got pure gel polishes, so people start buying those. People buy shellac less because it turns out pure gel lasts longer. So they just go like, oh, well, we'll just like update the technology and slightly reformulate it, and then name it something different and sell it to you like this.
Yeah. Or they then sell the right to their actual formulation, and it's white labeled, and then somebody else starts an entire new brand with the same product and something.
Yeah. Well, interestingly though, because you and I have a lot of experience that we won't go into with previous white labeling companies, but I don't think we've ever talked about white labeling on the pod. So rather than it being my voice when we've got you here, do you want to talk about what white labeling is for people that are newer listening to us?
Yeah, so there's only actually a few companies around the world that manufacture their own gels, and then a lot of them get contracts to then manufacture for other brands. But a lot of the time, anyone anywhere in the world can do a Google, buy gel polish, choose its bottle, put a label on it, and then start an entire new brand with no idea of what's really in it, just trusting that those companies are selling you the correct product. And then they might market it. They could be incredible marketers. I don't know how much we're supposed to share, but you see this happening with and that's now has like class action lawsuits against it, and like it's caused so much problems for people because it's so accessible and it's not regulated at all.
I think legally we have to say allegedly. But yeah, like, and the thing is that sometimes reputable companies will use their lab to create their proprietary blend. They formulate their own recipe, but then they go to one of these, like, I think last I heard it's 4 factories in the entire world that do all the mass manufacturing. So a company, reputable company, will spend all this time and effort and money creating their recipe, their proprietary blend, but then they contract it out to the bigger factories to mass produce it. But those factories only have to change, instead of 18% HEMA, we'll do 17.5% HEMA, and now it's no longer that licensed proprietary blend, so now they have this recipe that works. And so that's when and the thing is, you don't even have to Google, they come to you. They
turn up in my emails all the time, and they offer to sell it by the drum.
Yeah.
Wow.
And like I think I don't know if the salons get it the same way that you or I would get it, Jerilee, but like literally constantly, like most days, I will get an email from a factory saying like, hi, my name's Katie and I'm from this factory in like China, or like, I don't know, China seems to be the country that pops up the most in these emails. And we really they'll go, we love your brand and we love what you do at insert Monaco Nail Academy, and we want to help you and blah, 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 blah. And then they literally have catalogs and they go, choose your bottle shape, choose your bottle color, choose your lid shape, choose your brush length, choose your label shape, choose front and back or just front only.
This is a catalog, and it is everything. It tells you everything about the company and the brand, and it tells you every color, every product, poly gels, color gels, art gels, like everything. And then they just say, we'll bottle it, we'll label it with your label on it, and now you have your own brand.
And you just pick and choose, like, I want this bottle, this shape lid, this everything, and yeah.
And no accountability, nobody helping the person that's created this white label brand. There's no support. It's just anyone you're ordering online, there's nobody to back the consumer because it's just a person.
I have some questions about this though. So, can a white labeled like product, can someone like make their website pro only so that it looks legit?
100%. You do what you like.
Absolutely. Whatever you want.
Yeah.
No rules.
So then that's confusing because you're like, oh, it's pro only, so it must be real, and then it's not.
Well, all that pro only means is that the company selling the product has chosen to limit who they sell it to. And so, like, yes, reputable companies will do it, but then there's also, on the flip side, you've got companies who are creating a decent product who then sell it to everyone, who then we're going like, okay, but actually we can't support your business because we don't want everyone having access to liquid plastic to infuse into the human body. So we don't want to support that. We want to support companies that are limiting it. The thing is, even if it's white labeled product, I'd still much prefer it was pro only, because at least then someone is educated enough to not flood the cuticle.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, but pro only is literally just up to who, like the company.
And can a product where they will tell you, oh, just use a lamp within this wavelength, is that still like a professional product, or is that also white labeled? Like,
I would say that's white labeled because all brands that have their own formulation have their own chemists that match lamps specifically to their products, and all of their testing is done with their lamps.
The only reason that you would say just pick a lamp between this and this is because you don't know what will cure it properly, in my opinion. Like, I think,
in my opinion,
yeah, if you have spent like millions in some cases of dollars formulating with your own chemists and creating this proprietary blend that belongs to you, why then would you risk that your reputation gets tarnished by allergies and peeling and service breakdown because someone's using any old lamp? In my personal experience, from what I've seen, the only reason you would say use any brand is because you know that any brand in that wavelength will hit 55%, and then no one will be any the wiser that it's not at 95.
Yeah. And
then by the time your reputation is effed up the wazoo from giving people allergies, you just move on to a different white label product. Who cares? Well,
so it's kind of like a red flag.
Yeah,
it's such an interesting process, and it's so crazy that like there was we won't name names, but there was way back like a decade ago, but Jerilee and I were both already sort of deep in the industry when this happened, but someone who had distribution rights to a good international brand got dumped from that brand overnight, but then they came back instantly. Within 24 hours, they were like, but here's the thing, we're taking pre-orders for this, our own thing that we've been working on, and we weren't going to launch it right now. But actually, oh, well, now that we're not doing the other brand, we'll just launch it. And within like a few weeks, they were shipping this new, but it was white labeled.
It was incredibly well marketed, and they hit certain influencers in the industry, and it got pushed, and it had a lot of problems actually because it hit the market so quickly. And the original brand, the reputable one, has its own manufacturing company in Canada, makes all its own products, and like it's a really respectable brand.
And then, like, but interestingly and unsurprisingly and semi-unrelated, but that company that did that, like, that did the white label swap over, doesn't exist. So, like, we won't name them because we are professionals, but even if we did, you've never heard of them. They don't exist anymore. Hey guys, Penny from the future here. Want to take your salon to the next level? Discover the Salon Success Accelerator. 8 weeks to unleashing your salon's full potential. Gain complete access to the Salon Success course, where you'll learn how to build a solid business plan, develop a powerful brand, set the right prices, and create effective marketing strategies. Plus, benefit from 30 hours of additional recorded content, weekly one-on-one coaching sessions, and our exclusive group chat for personalized support. Starting every first of the month, this accelerator program provides a structured path to achieving salon success. Join today and master your salon success at www.monaco.ac.nz/course/accelerator.
Jerilee's camera looks like she's in a UV lamp.
Oh, it does look like that.
Yeah, she turned purple a couple of minutes ago and we've just completely not said anything. Okay, so Jerilee, you were originally self-taught while pregnant and then 2 years later decided to do a proper qualification, or no, you did a course but didn't finish it?
So I'm going to take you right back. So I actually was in a period in my life where I was experiencing a lot of grief and I was having a difficult time, and I was gifted a set of nails for a reason. And when I sat in that chair, all the outside world went away and I was just me. I wasn't someone grieving. I wasn't like, nobody expected anything from me. I was just being treated like a person, and I was getting my nails done, and I left and I felt amazing. And then I never got, and this, because this is so far back, they were obviously acrylic and it was a white tip with a glitter backing. Remember we used to have like all the beautiful different types of glitters that we'd switch between? So I was obsessed, and I would get different glitters every time, different colored French tips. And a couple of years later, I moved and I couldn't find a nail tech that I liked. And I was working in a job that I hated. It was like selling my soul. It was so out of alignment with just like my heart. And then I was pregnant and I thought, I cannot last in this job and no one's going to hire a pregnant person, even though that's illegal, but they won't. And so I couldn't find a nail tech that I liked, and I thought, I'll just train. So I contacted my nail tech from my old city, asked who she trained through, which at the time was EasyFlow. And so I went on EasyFlow's website, and there just so happened to be a trainer in my city. And so I quit my job and I did training. I did that over a series of about 2 months, a weekend, like in-person training. And then you go away and you have to get all your bodies of work. But by that stage, I was very pregnant and I wasn't really keen to do clients in acrylics that were taking me 4 hours to 5 hours to do. So I just took a little bit of a break and had my daughter. But during that time, I watched a lot of YouTube tutorials and like really, really fell into the love of it. And then time sort of went on and I fell pregnant again. And I thought, oh, I don't want this cycle to finish. I want to qualify. So I contacted the trainer that I'd been keeping in touch with and sat the qualification, passed it, and then had my baby and thought, well, still not quite ready for clients. By this stage, it was 2015. And so I decided to enter the nail comps.
Wow. Before you had clients.
Which I think so interestingly, though, for our listeners, is that your journey took 4 years to go from this is an idea I have to this is a qualification I have and a business I could have.
And I won when I entered.
Of course you did.
Wow. It was amazing. I was so passionate, but I couldn't take on clients. It was too much of a struggle. I think I did one person a month that was a friend. And but I was watching all these videos and I was learning all these techniques, and I was like, I want to share this with someone. And then the nail comp was sort of advertising and it got near to registration. They really pushed up their marketing, and I thought, oh, maybe they need support. Like, I'm going to support them and I'm going to use this as an outlet. And so yeah, I entered and I drove up with my baby and I went to the expo, spent the whole day there and just dying, wanting to breastfeed, but that's all right.
And how did
And
you practice if you weren't like doing it on clients?
on nail tips, on a terrible fake hand that you used to get through Young Nails.
Yeah.
The thing is, as well, though, just don't practice. Just go fucking do it.
Do it. Yes. That's how you learn.
Because I will tell people, when people are upset that they didn't pass their assessments first time, I will always tell them that the weekend before my acrylic exam in my original training 18 years ago was a 3-day weekend. I've said it before. I did 7 full sets of acrylic, French acrylics, but on tips because forms were not cool. 7 full sets of French acrylic in 3 days, and then went and passed my assessment, which was very anticlimactic because it turns out they just looked at it and were like, yeah, cool. And then the girl that had been next to me that did the most awful set of nails ever also passed, and I was like, why did I practice?
Wow.
That's my heart.
Disheartening.
However, when it came to comps, so we've got students on one hand who are like, oh, why didn't I pass? And I'm like, did you practice? And then they didn't. And I'm like, well, that's why you didn't pass. On the other hand, we have people that won't do comps because they're like, I'm not prepped. I don't have enough clients. I don't have time to practice, blah, 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 blah. But one of my things, I think I came second. However, one of my, whatever, trophy, certificate, whatever, is because, and this, I think this is when Daryl had comps maybe, but we had a party for launching our new website. I was at that party. Daryl rang. Comps was the next, I think it was Daryl. Comps was the next day. And I was like, shit, okay, I'll answer this because something must be wrong with my entry, or maybe comps is cancelled, or why would she be calling me at this launch party we were having for Monaco? And I answer and she was like, why aren't you doing stilettos? And I was like, because I've never done a set of stilettos in my life. And she was like, okay, but there's 2 other people in that category. You are entered in everything else. You have to compete. And I was like, I don't know how to do stilettos. I kind of know, I know how to apply the form, but I've never done it. And it's French. How am I supposed to do that? And she's like, I don't care. You have a 1 in 3 chance of getting a trophy. You don't know that they're any good. Get on the competition floor. So I posted, and it still comes up in my Facebook memories once a year, I posted a photo of someone's French stilettos, and I said, I need a model for tomorrow. I think it's 1 hand, and I'll take them off straight afterwards, and I'll give you a full set of acrylics of your choosing the week after as a thank you for doing it. And I got a model, and then I did it. I sliced her open, because I had a brand new file, and I did 1 sidewall stroke, and it literally just filleted her side, her laterals. It was disgusting. I glued her shut, and I finished the comp, and then I came second. I didn't practice. I'd never done a set of stilettos before in my life. So when you're like, Jerilee, how did you practice with no clients? You just fucking do it, bro.
I have 2 points to add to that. First of all, in nail competitions, in live events, it's not your best work ever. You're only competing to make the least amount of mistakes. That's it. No matter how much practice, no matter how much anything.
Yeah.
I just competed in Brisbane last year, and it was a gel polish, 1 red, 1 French. Honestly, not that difficult at all. But when you're on the floor, and I've competed in America, and I've competed in Sydney as well, competed in New Zealand, it's not your best work. It's the best that you can do with the least amount of mistakes. So you're not competing to have the perfect nail. You're just literally making the least amount of mistakes. The amount of blood I have seen in competitions, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
People never finish sets. The amount of top coats that are not cured, you're just trying to make the least amount of mistakes.
Yeah. What was your
And then the second point, so last year I decided to enter the nail competition in Australia, Global Nail Design Awards, and I was really excited. I decided to travel over there. I was going to compete in person, and Amanda, she also was going to compete, but she couldn't travel, so she did all of her submitted art. I offered to take her work with me. She She was like, no, I'll send it over. I'll get it straight to the hotel, right where everyone is, where the venue was. Cool. It gets stuck in customs and they refuse to send it. They absolutely refuse, even though it cost her maybe $150 for the shipping.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so she's crying and she spent hours and hours on this. And there's one specific category that they do called one nail, and it's like just the most crazy thing you could imagine. And Amanda really put her heart and energy. She's like, I don't know what this is, but I'm going to try it. And we were like communicating, and she was so heartbroken. And then the day before the competition, I was in Brisbane. I get a text from her and she said, I'm flying over. And I was like, what? She said, I'm flying over. And she spent an all-nighter, did all of her work again, all of the work yes, I kid you not, all of it again. She turned up. We went over to the event. And because I said, if you're coming, do you want to be on floor? I'll be your model. I can do these, but not these, because that's when I'm competing. She was like, okay. She came over with no kit. We ran around the expo. We got a file from this stand. We got some forms from that stand. We got some acrylic from the stand. We had no desk. I think we used a jersey to prop my hand up. And then the competition was like, do you want to enter the others? And she was like, sure. So we started, anyone want to be a model? And she's like, I've never, ever in my life done a full well, like Gel X extension. And that was one of the categories. Never in her life did it. Tried it that day. And she got overall grand champion.
Nice.
Well,
Wow.
that's one of the things I was going to say, because I was going to say, now I have 2 points to add. But one of the things I was going to say as well is that is why Amanda's a multi-time grand champion. Like,
that is exactly why.
Yeah, it's because she just doesn't accept not going for it. Like, everyone is back here, not everyone, but like so many people that I talk to, them, I'm like, you've got to enter, you're so good. And they're like, I can't enter because what if I don't win? And that's their biggest thing, is that anything but winning is failing. For Amanda, anything but trying is failing.
Absolutely. And it's not about winning. It's just about growing and learning. And like,
you learn so much more in a 90-minute comp than you do in 2 days of training.
Absolutely.
I was terrified this year in training. I was like, oh, I'll just enter a couple that I think I'll do well in. And then I was looking at the categories, and there's a new category which is extreme. And I was like, oh no, I'll do everything but those. And then I entered all of them because there was a package deal. You can get all 7 for essentially, I think it is the price of 6. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do it and we'll figure it out.
Yes.
Well, here's the thing as well, though, is that sometimes in different comps, there's different, like, you'll often see grand champion, but it'll have different rules depending on which comp you're under, which country you're in, whatever. But in some sets of rules, you can only qualify for grand champion if you did every single comp. And then even if you got 1 out of 100 on one of them, you still now qualify for grand champion. And the thing as well is, no spoiler alert, but I'll say this anyway, but so at Summit, we have an equivalent of grand champion, but it is for the person with the highest combined exam scores for the previous calendar year. Christel got it last year, but so like a grand champion at Summit, it's not related to Summit, it's just that we have prize giving at Summit, and so we're like giving out also Monaco's awards of the year, because why the fuck not? And
Why not? Yeah, that's amazing.
Champion is literally the person who got the highest combined exam scores for the previous year. And I have already
I didn't even pass everything.
Well, this is
I actually remember seeing the photo of you with it from
yes.
Summit.
But the thing is, with Grand Champion, it is almost never, the person who gets Grand Champion at Summit is almost never someone who got other category placings. Like, it is not usually someone who got like first of extensions, first of natural nails, whatever, and then you're like, well, they're going to get Grand Champion. No, because we have like 8 or 9 different assessments across the full qualification, and the person who is coming second this year, spoiler alert, like it's next month, but so it hasn't happened yet, but the person coming second, if they had reset their IBX, which they had done the previous year already, but you can reset, I don't care. If they had reset IBX, they would be grand champion this year.
No
and they're not,
way.
they're coming
Wow.
I took an IBX class with Penny in person.
second. The other thing I was going to say as well, back to Jerilee's 2 points, my 2 points, was that, first of all, the nails you do in comps, like Jerilee was saying, you're competing to make the least amount of mistakes. You're also not competing to, even though there are categories called salon whatever, you're not competing for the person that does the best set of nails in salon. You are competing to take what you know how to do with nail products and apply it to a competition. It's got nothing to do with what you do in salon. The length isn't the same. The request isn't the same. Like, name a client you've done 2 red nails and 3 French nails on. It's not the same thing. To go, like, it's like if you run every day and then you do a marathon, you're going to do a marathon. Okay, I know there's like crazy people, but you might do a marathon once a year. Not me. I'm not crazy. If you run every day and do, even if you're a person who does 5Ks 5 times a week, that is not the same thing as then going to do a marathon and applying your like skills and practice and fitness to a marathon. It's taking skills you have in one area and applying them to a different challenge. And that's what comps is like. It's nothing like doing a client in your salon.
It really provokes creative thinking as well. Like, the way you look at it, it's different because it's you expressing yourself, not you creating something for a service.
Yeah, 100%.
Be prepared for lack of sleep.
I definitely pulled a literal all-nighter with the comp in Brisbane. I was crying too. I messaged a friend. I was like, my shoulders, I'm flying tomorrow. I have to finish this. And they came and gave me like a massage. I was like, you can do it.
Wow.
A full all-nighter. Yeah.
Whereas I am the opposite. We all know that I go to bed early and I get up early and I need my sleep. And I would rather lose than pull an all-nighter. Like, even at the artistic educator conferences that we used to have in Australia, and we would all go over there, and they set this insane precedent, which happens, it's not artistic specific. This is like all brands that do these big conferences for educators and stuff. They set this precedent that, like, if you go to the thing overseas, you're going to spend 5 days, you're not going to sleep, you're going to get 2 hours of sleep a night, you're going to stay up until 2 o'clock in the morning. If you don't pass the exam the next day, then you're going to be like, you can't come back. Like, they make it as if, like, I think now in my jaded old age, I'm like, actually, that didn't matter. I didn't need to do that. I didn't need to, like, but whatever. It pushed me. However, I was always the first to bed. I was like, I don't give a shit. You guys stay up till 3 a.m. practicing and soaking off. I'm going to sleep.
Yeah. Nothing good can come from working exhausted.
No.
The other thing I was going to say as well, which is naughty, and Jerilee won't want me saying this, but because you were talking about how Amanda had no kit, and we've talked before on the pod about how one year I accidentally poured monomer into my acrylic powder pot instead of my monomer dapping dish, and I always sit on the rope so that people can talk to me, because I find the distraction good for me, for how I work. And Tony was standing next to me, and we were in the expo hall at ASB Showgrounds, massive high ceilings, and as I did it, she went, no, and it reverbed off the ceiling. Like, I will never forget that. However, that story I've told 1,000 times. What Jerilee won't want me to say out loud, because you are not allowed to take anything out of your bag again. You're not allowed to get anything that's not on your desk when you start comps is not coming into the comps. But the first thing Tony did was turn around and walk away, and I was like, where the fuck is she going? And then she came back 5 minutes later, did the most stealth drug deal. She just like turned around as if she was looking for something, and then there was a new pot of acrylic powder on my desk. And I was
That's
like,
she didn't scream no so loudly that everyone could hear.
Well, she disappeared. Like, I think it was her. It might have been Mariah, but like, yeah, one of them walked off, and I was like, all right, fuck you too. And then they came back and just sort of like played as if they got distracted and just really stealthily like slid this new pot of powder onto my desk.
I know that
you're not allowed to do.
Yeah, competed, like Amanda talks about it too, where they've been competing next to somebody and they've not had something, and she's just like, and they like subtly pushed it to their side of the desk. But what you've just talked about was before I was running the comps.
Yes.
And the rule is that everything on your station is on your station. However, if you have forgotten something, we will let you get it. It's just a point deduction now of 10 points, which is a lot.
Yeah.
So last year we had Kinjoy came over from Australia, and she was competing, and she'd been competing all day. And then last one didn't have her acrylic brush, and she said,
I
"I'll
was
take
her
the..."
model for that.
Oh, was it you?
Yeah.
So she took the point deduction.
Yeah.
And I don't remember, and I'll be purposely vague, but one of the last couple of years where we were judging and we had to do a point deduction, it did cost someone the win. Like, I remember vividly that we were like, shit, like, we just felt so guilty behind the curtain, but we're like, but fair's fair, like, we had to play by these rules.
Yeah, everybody else's, that's the point. It needs to be the same rules for everybody. And we don't want to make it impossible or hard or terrifying, like, of course, but to make it fair, it just means a point deduction, as opposed to like you now have to suffer. And I guess you would have had no set. Like, what would you have done if you didn't get the acrylic?
Use a different brush.
You would have had to forfeit in the old days. You'd just be like, I'm forfeiting.
Yeah, so we don't want that. We want everybody to grow and learn, but we have to just abide by a set of rules so that we can have a fair judging process.
Yeah. Although I tell you what I would have done is I would have, in that moment, and this is not a recommendation, but I would have dipped my finger in some monomer, dipped it in powder, and touched it to the nail so I could submit it and get my 1 point.
Just put the tips on if you were using tips or whatever.
Yeah, something to get my
some points.
A couple
you
of
could
points.
come second.
Literally, sometimes you could come second.
Yeah.
Because every now and then there's a category that only has like 1 or 2 people in a small comp.
Yeah, although we don't place now. We do highly commended. We bought in that last year.
Yeah, that's good too. Hey guys, Future Penny here again. Just a super quick interruption to let you know that if you head to monaco.ac.nz/subscribe, not only can you sign up to our weekly newsletter, but you'll also get a free video lesson from our course, The Art of Pigments. That's monaco.ac.nz/subscribe. So you qualified in nails, and then you started doing nails. You've always done it from home, eh?
Always, yeah.
And so then you haven't educated for a brand, eh?
In 2019, 2020, I did all my educator training through Accents. Yeah, so I've been through all the like educator modules, but with COVID and I went through a divorce, I never really took action on that. But I think I just prefer being an individual, independent educator.
So then you took over comps 4 years ago?
About that, yeah, I think so. We've held 3 with 1 year being a postponement, so 4, yes.
Yeah. So, and when you took over comps, tell us about the process of taking ownership of comps, and you went over and did your international judging training. Like, talk us through that process.
Yeah, so it came off the back of me entering an international contest through a magazine in America called Next Top Nail Artist. And I made it into the top 25 and then eliminated down into the top 12. And I was competing with people internationally, and like, it was amazing. And then I went over to Orlando in Florida to the finals, and then Nail Olympia were hosting their first Orlando event. And so I entered in that, but I was a master, so I was terrified. And honestly, the talent over there, like nails is, compared to the industry here, nails is massive over there. And to my surprise, because I was still feeling pretty imposter syndrome back then, I won both of my categories, placing above Hazel Dixon. Do you know who Hazel Dixon is? I placed above Hazel Dixon. I was like, she was like hugging me, congratulations. I was like, this is not real. And then, so I came home, and that's when I got the invitation to do the international qualification through the Judging Association, INJA. And that was a 4-day event, pretty similar to what you just explained, like what it was like in the old days, where you're like, we're going to be doing this and you're going to be.
Yeah.
So it was just like a lot of stuff crammed into that 4 days. But it was actually during that 4 days that I really cemented my relationship with Amanda, because before that we were just friends, competitors within the industry. And then during that we were more like partners, right?
Yeah.
Collaborating. And so I was excited to then do the judging, and we judged the first time we got to experience judging the nail comps that year, which could have been the year that you were there with Tony.
Possibly. Maybe.
And yeah, and then the year after that, I just stepped into leadership within the nail competition because I had come up as a competitor and I had experienced so many different competitions. I had a lot of things that I wanted to share and change and implement. And so I straight away started changing rules and fixing how I feel division should go. Penny mentioned earlier that how grand champions different across all competitions. All rules, all divisions are all different across all competitions. But I liked that I was able to create something as a competitor myself and as somebody that's still competing and still using that as a way to grow the nail competition from that perspective. Yeah, I was super excited. And Amanda and I have built it from being a sort of a little sponsored corner of a big expo to last year having a standalone event, which was incredible.
Was that the first one?
Yeah, the first standalone, yeah.
It's always been at expo before that.
Yeah, I made that out of my brain.
Cool.
It was so funny because like leading up to it, I was like, I had to pay extra for the green lighting. And I was like, this is so wasteful. Like, there's no profit margin in any of this. This is so wasteful. But I was like determined. And then when I got the photos back, I was like, yes, the vision has come to life.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love how unapologetically proud of things you are, Jerilee. Like, I think so many people are afraid to be proud of stuff because I guess tall poppy syndrome and like, oh, but I don't want people to think like whatever we fill the blank in with in our brain. But you're so unapologetically proud, and it's not a negative. It's lovely for you to be like, I pulled this out of my brain, or I like placed higher than this person, or like there's been multiple things during this chat that you're like, I did so good at this. And I'm like, it's so nice because I'm back here being like, fuck yeah, you did. Like, never have I thought like, like, calm down. Like, I'm like, yeah, you did. That's so cool. But I love that you're like leading that space as a person deep in the industry, running comps and stuff. What a good person to have leading those people, because we should be proud of what we're doing.
Well, I love encouraging in this industry, and I absolutely love what you're doing and what you said, because I feel the same way. When I see somebody doing something and trying something, I want nothing but to encourage them, because yes, I am proud of the things that I've done. It's taken me a long time to get here, but it's not without the fear. It's not without those stories of me telling myself it's safer to shrink. It's safer to not be noticed. People won't like you if you do well. Like, I've had to battle through a lot of personal beliefs around abandonment just to even feel proud of achievements that I've made. And it took me a long time when I got those achievements to feel like I earned them. Like I said with the imposter syndrome earlier, I was winning masters divisions in America, and I still felt like I was lucky, like my name was being drawn out of a hat.
I was so excited when I saw your face pop up for this podcast, because I thought this podcast had been recorded last week and I wasn't able to make it. And I'm probably like low-key fangirling, but I'm like, because I've seen some of your stories on like Instagram, and you are like a really encouraging person, and like I can tell that you want there to be like more for nails in New Zealand, and like it's really encouraging to see someone like push for that.
Well, what you beautiful younglings don't know is that there used to be a pretty thriving industry. There used to be something that you could be a part of, and it was prestigious, and you could be invited to be an educator, and there were events that were held, and there was sort of like a ladder that you could grow through. If you could be a nail tech just from your home around your kids if you want to. It could be a hobby, and then you can move on to your career. If you're super into science and you get amazing opportunities, you can take that. Or if you want to, and nails is something that you love, you can become an educator, be a distributor, or be an industry leader in some other way. What Penny's created is amazing, and she had a chance to give up nails altogether, or not, which, you know, thankfully she didn't, because Penny's been like a shining light in this industry for as long as I can remember. And if it wasn't for her doing what she does, that wouldn't give me permission to be able to do what I do. Because especially recently, I feel like I've been standing at the edge of this industry within New Zealand and a little bit Australia. And I'm just like shouting into this void, because there's nothing there. There's like little fragments. You guys are doing some great stuff. And I love that you're really expanding to make people more aware that it's not only for Monaco graduates, but it's actually to elevate the industry as a whole. And I wholeheartedly support that, and we
You
need
mean
it.
summit.
Yeah, the summit that you're wanting to.
Yeah.
But just basically what you're doing is elevating the industry, and you're saying, like, I'm not doing this only for the people that choose me. I'm doing this for the people that love nails and love the expression of art and believe in themselves enough to create things from their brain, from nothing. These people are people probably that are super neurospicy, and for the first time in their lives, they're like following a little bit of passion. And I want people like yourself, people like me, to make sure that they have somewhere to grow to, make sure that there's somewhere to stay.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I blacked out the first half of that. As soon as it started to make me feel like I was going to cry, then I just blacked out.
It's true. So Penny was in a different division to me when I met her at that competition, 2015, but I sat next to her and I was terrified. I didn't know what I was doing. I had just qualified. I wasn't doing clients, but I was just trying it. I was like, I'm going to do this French. I found a model from Auckland that I'd never met. I met her the night before. She had on a product I'd never dealt with, and it was incredibly difficult to file. I thought you had to have long nails to have a good French, so her nails were long and curled under at the ends, and it was terrible. And Penny sat next to me and literally coached me through it. She had her little timer going, and she was like, "You're doing great, 10 minutes."
Yeah.
And then meanwhile, people are walking past, because like she said, she likes to go by the ropes. And people are walking past and they're like, "Whoa, look how much she's shaking." And I was very physically shaking. So
I think all of us, like, we all want to grow, right? We don't like to stay like stagnant in one place. And I think that's like, it's nice for me when I found out there was actually competitions in nails. I was like, oh my gosh, this is cool. Like, because it's something that you can work towards and like keep pushing yourselves.
But I think like how Jerilee was saying, like, it's crazy how the industry has changed and will always change, because the people who've been in the industry longer than us will also talk about how different it was back in the day. Like, because there was no non-standard salons when I first started, but if you go back before, like, there was a point 25, 30 years ago where a full set of French acrylics was $150 because people valued that it was this insane thing that not that many people could do. And then there've been so many evolutions, like just that part of the industry. We know now that then the non-standard salons entered malls and they cut price, and then the vision of what we were worth changed, and now we're struggling to be like, guys, no, charge more. What are you doing? It's divided the industry in that way, and that there's like a cut price half of the industry, because I will always say that there are two industries now, the cut price side and then the boutique side. But even like Jerilee talking about being able to work your way up as an educator, or like just, we used to go to so many classes constantly, and some of them would be international educators. Monaco used to bring international educators over at least twice a year, and we would fill a room of 40 nail techs for 2 days that would, like, similar to what Jerilee described at the top of the episode, watching those things come in. Like, I'd get into work and be like, oh my god, we got another 7 people, and then the next day, oh my god, like, and then a week later you're promoting that it's sold out. And now every event that someone tries to do is cancelled because not enough people have signed up to it.
Wow.
Two international events this year have been cancelled for different reasons, but certainly one of them was because they didn't get enough numbers.
Yeah, and Summit as well. Like, Summit is a passion project. There is no money in Summit. Like, it is very much. The very first year that we did Summit was purely because, so there was a summer period where we did core half of courses. Our summer promotion for enrollments was that we had, like, I can't remember the numbers, but extremely limited discount codes. There were some that were 70% off, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10% off our courses. And the idea was that you picked what you could pay, and we were trying to make the course accessible to people that couldn't necessarily afford to do it. Core half of courses, do what you want, pay what you're able to do. Now, of course, 70% just disappeared first, 60% disappeared second. Like, some people were honest about it. Some people were so incredibly grateful that they could do a course that they would never have been able to do. But it did, it disappeared in discount order. But the number of people that we had this big influx because of it, and so many of those people were so grateful that then I initiated the 6-week challenge, which we did one time. I have actually, me and Josh were brainstorming like literally 2 weeks ago how to do it again, but it took such an incredible amount of time. But I had this idea in my head for years to do a challenge like they do at the gym, to have people participate in things. And so on the back of Koha for courses, I was like, fuck it, I'm going to do the 6-week challenge. And I made it up day to day. Like if I had tried to do it, I wouldn't have done it.
Do it messy.
Yeah, you got to do it messy. So however.
Can you do it again, please? Because
Yeah.
I feel like I'm missing out.
You are. The 6-week challenge was incredible. It is one of the best things in the entire history of Monaco. Literally, I'm not kidding you, when 2 weeks ago me and Josh were sitting in the back of his van playing cards at the beach and mapping out the 6-week challenge and putting down our hands of cards to make notes on the 6-week challenge. I'm not kidding you when I say we've been mapping it out. It's just a time factor, because when the 6-week challenge ran last time, I was having to get up even earlier than normal, and I was spending probably 4 hours a day doing it all. But it was incredible. People were in teams, they had team names, they could get points by zooming with each other, they could have points by meetups, they had different challenges. It was so freaking fun. At the end of 6 weeks, we were all exhausted, all participants exhausted, everybody exhausted, but everyone was like, we've got to do it again. 6 months later, I didn't feel like we were ready for it, so we didn't. And then life happened and a million things happened, and the 6-week challenge didn't happen. However, my point was that on the back of the 6-week challenge, we had just had 6 weeks of complete strangers doing a weekly Zoom with each other and taking a 15-minute diversion to call into someone else's salon to take a selfie with them, to there was this massive community. And I was like, how the fuck do we capture this? And Summit was born. I was like, okay, we're all going to meet up. We're going to do a thing and we're going to keep this. And the very first Summit was born. But the way I did Summit the first time was to go, I think that in the current climate that it was back then, I think people can afford $8 a week. It's just more than a coffee. I'm going to do it at $8 a week. And I got people to sign up, and then I took the amount of money and then I fit Summit into the amount of money. And then I wanted it to be really cool. So I then spent many thousands of dollars of my own money making it cooler on top of that, and running away with the idea and being like, it'll be fine. But
Welcome to the New Zealand nail cops.
yes, welcome to the New Zealand nail industry. Yeah, so
The
I
green lights are worth it.
The green lights are always worth it. But yeah, so then Summit's run away. Well, not Summit's run away, but everyone loved it so much that I was like, okay, I guess we'll do it again.
Yeah.
But it's really just it's been messy the whole time. I'm always doing it messy, trying to make
And
it
yet
work,
we all
but
love
is
it.
a passion project. But last year we had 21 people. We always have 4 or 5 people in the 24 hours before Summit panic and pull out, guaranteed.
Same.
Yeah, and it's insane. It devastates me. I don't give a shit for myself. I'm just like, oh, if we could get you there, it will change your life.
Wait 1 second. To add to that, this last year, I had somebody that emailed me maybe 3 days before the event saying that she didn't realize that the event was that weekend and she had no work and she wanted a refund. And I explained the process around the fact that we've already bought medals for the amount of people we have and so on and so forth. And I encouraged her to enter. I said, I have family that's coming up from the town that you live in. You can drop your work. I do it today. Just whip something up, no matter what it is. And she ended up driving here. And entered and got first.
Of course she did. But yeah, so we had 21 people in person at Summit last year, and then 19 of them signed up for Summit this year before the end of day 2. And I didn't have a Summit for this year. There was no location, there was nothing. They were just like, we have to come back. And so based on that, we were like, yes, it's going to be incredible. We're going to have so many people this year. But because it is a passion project, I have to be careful with how much time and effort I put into marketing it. It's a bit of a balance where I would love to, like, if I could make Summit my full-time job, holy shit, it would be massive. But I can't.
That's what I'm trying to do with the nail competition. It's the same thing. I feel so passionate about, if I could just make this the thing that I do.
Yes. But so we haven't hit the numbers of signups that we wanted to. But then as we get closer to Summit each year, I'm like, okay, but next year, I'll make it. But I think one of the big things is definitely the fact that a lot of people, even though everything says anyone can come to Summit, a lot of people, I think that it's just for Monaco, and it's not.
It's interesting because it's pretty much how the concept of fingertips was born, because like I see people doing these events and doing these things, which
fill in our listeners on what fingertips is, because we haven't touched on that.
So Fingertips started out as like a newsletter where I would close out the New Zealand nail comps. But one day I was sitting on the floor with all of the entries that had been sent in that I needed to ship back, and they were incredible. And I know the amount of energy and time. And I was like, I want to keep supporting these people that are like doing the thing. I want to make sure that they're like feeling elevated and represented. And I just had this like flood of ideas about creating a magazine. So I went out, and just like Penny has said, I just did it messy. I just had an idea. I didn't know if it was going to work. I just tried it. All these things do cost you money. And I mean, if you think of them as an investment into learning, it's good. But, you know, so I put out a couple of the magazines, but I did it alone because there isn't a lot of, I have found that a lot of people are hesitant to collaborate. And so it was, I soon realized after a couple of issues that I wasn't able to hold that space for much longer without a whole team. And then I realized that things were happening in the industry, and sometimes really quickly, and I wanted to share that. Somebody was having a birthday, say a distributor's like been in business for 5 years. Oh my fuck yes, let's celebrate that, let's support that person. But then by the time the magazine comes out, their birthday was 3 weeks ago. So that transformed into the Instagram social media channel, where I wanted to just share industry things. It's not about nail education. It's about the nail industry. It's about events. It's about people. It's about growth. It's about seeing opportunity. And it's making sure that people that are creating things from their brain and doing it messy get the support that they so willingly deserve, because they're not doing it for them. Like Penny said, it's really for the other people. We believe so strongly in what we're creating because it's a benefit to you, which is why it's so sad when people pull out, because they're missing out on this amazing opportunity.
And I think as well, you go.
That's sort of how Nail Tips grew. And then I put out a call to the world just saying like, hey guys, I can't do this on my own. I collaborated with Serena, who's been amazing. And then it's sort of like what you've done, you know, where you said with the 6 weeks, the timing, I was going to do it, but they just didn't quite feel right. That's where sort of Fingertips has sat. A lot of my energy at the moment is going towards building the nail comp to be something, and then have Fingertips support the competitors, the distributors, the people like Penny, the events, and then like help prop that up. But yeah, at the moment it's like it's a do it messy.
Always do it messy and always pay for the green lights. This is what we're learning.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to go to a totally different point, but on the green lights thing, I spent all my own money to get the first hoodies for the Monaco Summit, and then it was the best thing that we ever did.
Yes.
Amazing.
Just because everybody still sends selfies to each other being like, I'm like, and it's not about repping Monaco. Like, it's literally just about the shared experience and being like, we were there.
Yeah, it's about community.
Currently covered in dog fur at the moment.
Mine is always covered in dog fur. Penny from the future back again to quickly interrupt and remind you to sign up for the Salon Success Accelerator, an 8-week course that helps you unleash your salon's full potential. Find out more at monaco.ac.nz/course/accelerator. But I was going to say, like, I can't remember how I was coming into it, so I'll probably like babble over it, but like, what I was going to say based on what you were talking about before, Jerilee, with like wanting to see people come up and support other people, like in my head, when I'm thinking that way, like I just want you to do well kind of thing, it feels wrong. I don't know how to describe the feeling, but I feel like other people must think I'm being fake. But like what it is like, having been through the industry as long as we have, right? Like, you're talking about how you started your qualification, then you stopped to have a baby, and you tried this, and you did some YouTube stuff, and then you went back and did it, and then you did your educator stuff, but then you let it go to the wayside, and you've tried fingertips, but then that got pushed back, and you're doing the comps, and like, you've got this whole big like roller coaster of up and down and try and not fail, but try and delay and try and pause and try and go a different route and like try, and then that's not for you. And of course, my journey is exactly the same roller coaster, but completely different decisions. And doing the qualification, but having not researched it at all, and not realizing that the qualification I did, because I did similar to you, I messaged my sister's friend and was like, where did you go? And I just went there. I didn't research at all. And then it was 5 years later that I went full-time, decided to do some extra courses to be the best nail tech I could be, went and did a one-day thing. And she was like, cool, where's your cuticle pusher? And I was like, what do you mean? And I started to learn the holes in my education. Some of that, this is the thing, I'm not bagging the place I trained, because you've got so many variables of my memory, the educator, whether the specific educator was representing what their vision was for the course. Like, there's so many variables, but either way, 5 years into my career, I did not know what a cuticle pusher was. I had been using something totally different. And so there's all these ups and downs, and going overseas for things, trying comps, stopping comps, like all these different things. My point is that, and I think you're similar, Jerilee, is that when I'm seeing someone go, but I can't because, I'm like, no, you can because I did it. Because Jerilee took 4 years to get her qualification, and now she owns the NZ nail comps. What are you talking about? You can't do it. Yes, you can. You can. Yeah. You have to do it. Like, part of it's almost just self-serving, wanting to prove that, like, not prove them wrong, prove me right, but be like, no, this, you can't, no. You can.
And there are people that will receive that. So really it's for the people that know it, but they've got these things that are holding them back, and you're just like calling them forward, like, no, you can. And they go, can I? Yeah, you can. And then they try it, and then they start to believe, and then they themselves start calling people forward. But there will be people that don't want to change the way that they see things, and do want to think that it's too hard and they can't get clients, and being a nail tech isn't a career. And I mean, I think that's what's so difficult, because you have people that want to be called forward, but then people in their lives don't see it as a career, and then say, oh, you can't make that a job. Or for a long time I would walk around and say, oh, what do you do? Oh, I just do nails. But well, I'm a self-employed person. I bring income out of thin air. I make it myself. That's more stable than a job that you could lose at any moment, and you don't have any skills to manifest money out of nothing.
You have to tell her about the video.
What?
The video that I made for Hayden.
Oh, yeah. I had someone, my husband, when I was considering becoming a nail tech, I did Launchpad, and then I was like real excited about it, and would like tell him about the videos each day. But then at the end of the week, when I got this like promo being like, here, sign up to this, I knew that was going to be a big hurdle for him to like get over, because it was like, okay, so now I actually have to like hand over my money. And
so I'll interrupt you so quickly to say that Launchpad is a 5-day, like, it's a Launchpad for nail techs. It's free. It's monaco.ac.nz/launchpad, but it is a video every day showing you a part of the industry, and at the end it's like, okay, now if you want to take the leap, you can do it. So that's like the background plot. And we have a group chat, which is why Michal and I had direct contact. Okay, keep going.
Yeah, Penny made a video, and I label it, I've got it saved on my computer as Dear Mr. Husband. And it's just like encouraging him to be like, yes, I'll take your money, in the nicest way possible. So yeah, that's how I had to get him over the line.
I might
and it
be
worked.
misremembering it, but I feel like it was either the Dear Mr. Husband video or a different one I've done for someone else where I was like, okay, I don't want to sound like a dickhead here, but I am making 6 figures. Like, this is not just painting nails. It's hard. It's not going to be easy. She's going to have to work really hard to get there. And the very first year I did it, I made $2,500.
Yeah.
But I am here at the other end making 6 figures from home part-time, like, it is not just painting nails. That was that video, eh?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
But then like now that I'm a nail tech, because like I see all this like desire to like really push for nails and like make it a big thing, like not just a passion project. How do we support and help that cause? Because it's like I could look
You're
at
doing
myself.
it. Well,
Yeah, but I
you were
look at
literally
myself.
doing it every single day. You were posting videos, you were signing up to all of the like education opportunities, you're entering the nail competitions, like you're supporting it.
Are there other ways we can do that?
I have a more
Like,
practical answer.
yeah.
So which is not to discount Jerilee's, that was great. It was just more to be like, I have a more like to-do listy kind of thing, a more penny answer.
I'm an encourager.
First of all, do Monaco's How to Set Your Prices module, because you'll know exactly how to do what I'm about to say. But factor in $5 off every client that goes into a separate suffix labeled events and education, and put $5 from every freaking client into that account. And then if you have 3 clients a month, it'll become a certain amount at the end of the year. If you have 30 clients a month, it'll become a different amount at the end of the year. But at the end of the year, you will know what your budget is to register for comps, to sign up for Summit. If you're doing 40 clients a week and $5 of every client is going into a different account, maybe you're actually flying to Orlando to do comps and experience the expos in America and the massiveness of them and things like that. But if you really want to be supporting what people like Jerilee and I are doing, you need financial backing for it, because that right now in today's economic climate is the 2 biggest hurdles for Jerilee and I are your confidence and your money.
And that means not comparing yourself to anybody else's journey, because you want to make it a career and someone else might be charging less, but they don't want to make it a career. They don't want to train. They don't want to enter competitions. They don't want to invest in their nail tech experience. They just want to do a couple of people to boost up their income while they've got their children or whatever it is. So when you are trying to make it something, not comparing yourself to what anybody else is doing.
Yeah, 100%. And just being like, everything's an experience and everything is learning. But like Jerilee was saying before, some people are going to want to grow and some people aren't. We have much less control and influence over your confidence than we do over your money. And the thing is that the events and things that we are putting on and that our other peers are putting on are actually directly impacting your ability to make money. Because when you now have a gold medal emoji on your Insta bio tagging in NZ Nail Comps, people are going to respect your work more instantly because you're an award winner. Now you can make more money. You come to Summit, you do the training, you get more confidence, you make more money. Like, if you can participate in the things that we are doing, we are then directly impacting your confidence and your finances. But you have to do it first. And like people will say, oh, but no one will pay an extra $5. Yes, they fucking will. It is 5. They're blowing $20 at the dairy because they went for milk and then they saw something and they went hungry. Like, they will find $5. $5 is not the reason a client is not coming to you. Like, if you charge, sorry, Jerilee, 1 second. If you charge $70 and tomorrow you charge $75, that $5 is not the reason someone isn't booking with you. Like, in my last price increase, we all already know that I lost 1 client. She did not stop coming to me because the price changed $5. She stopped coming to me because we were already misaligned. I was already not looking forward to her coming, which means she was already picking up that vibe. And the service I was able to offer her no longer matched the price I required from her. So we went our separate ways. every other person gave me that extra money. And if I put $5 aside from every client because I priced that in, then I'm able to go to events. And let me tell you, when there was events constantly, international educators coming here, overseas opportunities, that is when I was in my highest, fastest growth phase, was when I was surrounding myself with other nail techs. Go, Jerilee.
And what I wanted to add is that when you actively start backing yourself and saying, like, I'm worth this and I'm doing this thing, you're encouraging other people to have that same opinion. So you're saying, you're entering competitions, you're like, I love this. And then you get that loyalty from your clients because they're following you on your journey. It's like when COVID hit and they were like, people that don't have a loyalty aren't going to stay. They're going to cut, they're going to, reduce. But because people know your journey and they know you and you back yourself, they want to encourage you. They want to support you. People fundamentally want to see you succeed. Anybody that doesn't is just not a very happy person.
I'm actually going to run a raffle. I just have to put the last few pieces together this week. But it's a raffle to fund for the NZ nail comps.
Perfect. And your clients will want that.
Yeah, it'll help them to feel like they're a part of it too.
Yes. Because they do. And they come in, they see your appointments and they see the work that you're working on. Oh, how much have you added? Sometimes I'd have discussions with my clients and they'd give me like, little critiques or, oh, what about if you add this? Sometimes I'd be offended. Sometimes I'd be like, that is perfect.
Yeah.
It's nice to have them on the journey.
And have you guys seen the call to action for a price increase on July the 1st?
I have, yep.
No.
Oh, it's been going around on the socials and I'm like, well, because it's telling all nail techs to just increase their prices by I think it's like $10, so that together we can raise the.
Can I say an unpopular opinion?
Yeah.
I think people that are too afraid to raise their prices on their own merit need other people to raise their prices so that they can feel better about the prices they charge.
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
I get the
If you want to charge more, charge more.
I get the sentiment behind what I understand from only what you've just said is that if everybody put their prices up on the same day, the entire industry would increase in value overnight. Clients wouldn't have a choice but to pay it because everybody had put up their prices and therefore the entire industry had increased in value. However, first of all, if we go back to the fact that there are two industries, you've got the cut price, speedy industry, and you've got our side of the industry, more boutique, so you've got 4 factors clients are considering anytime they book an appointment: hygiene, quality, convenience, and price. We do not serve convenience or price. They do not serve hygiene or quality. So you've got 2 completely separate industries, and that for that campaign to work, both industries would have to do the same thing. But first of all, people are too afraid. They're not all going to do it. It's incredible sentiment. I get it. I understand. And if it worked, amazing. But the thing is, as well as I think the bigger issue in the industry and the bigger issue with pricing is confidence. You're not going to put your prices up unless you are confident people will pay it. Or you've reached the point that Jerilee and I have where we're like, okay, but I'm worth it, you can pay it or you can't. But then also you're not going to if you did on the back of this campaign put your prices up on a specific date with everybody else, but you needed the backing of all those other people to make yourself do it, the first client that walks in, you're going to be like, oh, it's 75 now, but if you've only got 65, it's okay. You're going to have all these people now undercutting the price they just made, or making exceptions for regulars, or making exceptions for loyal people, because they didn't have the confidence to do it before. So now and I'm generalizing, but a lot of people won't have the confidence to run with those prices. And so actually you're going to undercut it more because now we're going to have people underselling themselves.
Yeah.
I also feel as a blanket statement, it's not really a fair representation either, because it's about the value that you bring. And if everybody's raising their prices, but you're doing nothing to build in value, you don't have a very well-established setup in which you feel you can do it. You are still pulling products out and putting it on a table or traveling to, like, you are still bitsy. Like, to expect somebody like that to then put their prices up and not have a feeling of, why are you telling me to do that when I'm not quite ready, is also something.
Yeah, and I think as well, like, realistically, so we have How to Set Your Prices. Gel Inc. has, I think it's Path to Profit. You have access to courses that will help you work out what your true monetary value is of your work and how to charge accordingly. And so if I were to put my prices up by $10 right now, that doesn't make sense. First of all, I put my prices up, like 6 months ago or whatever, and that was carefully calculated and worked out and stuff. But I don't need another $10. I'm already priced fine.
Yeah.
I'm like, not everybody is, not the issue, but like, not everybody is the target of that kind of campaign.
Yeah.
Actually, if somebody is working their way up or they're offering specific services, it's just that an arbitrary amount like that doesn't work for everyone. You need to work out what the costs are of running your business, of paying yourself a living wage and then some, and then charge accordingly. And like Jerilee said, offer the value.
Yeah, I'm paying this much because I'm watching my nail tech go to trainings and enter competitions and doing all of these things, or I'm paying this much and my nail tech's just walked out of, I don't know, her home and the kids are running around, and like, it's just like, you can't have a blanket rule for everybody.
So you want people to see your value.
Well, just because you want to reinvest that and they're seeing it, that's why your prices reflect. Like, it's such a personal experience. Like, maybe I do just have my children running around and I'm actually okay with charging $40-50 for a set of gel polishes, because I'm not buying a lot of extra colors. I'm not, getting new glitters in all the time. I don't need all that extra revenue. And so, it's such a personalized thing. I think doing the calculators and knowing your own costs, I did Penny's one originally. So that's what's really important. And I think as well, understanding how many clients a person does, because you're just assuming that everybody's doing the same amount of clients as well.
Yeah.
Not you as in like specifically a person. This is very generic.
Yeah. Also, like, wait, what was my thought? Fuck, I just had it. Oh, also, this is like a tangent and a backtrack and whatever, but I just had this thought, and it might be my brain, but like, when we're saying to take all this money and spend all this money on improvement and stuff, I think from my experience that there is a certain category of nail tech that is going to feel like, if they take money from their clients and then spend it being like, I'm on a plane to Australia, I'm traveling here, that their clients are going to be like, why the fuck am I paying you to like waltz around the world doing? I know that there's a category of people listening right now that are like, no,
you guys have the wrong clients.
Yeah,
you have the wrong clients. And when I was more actively traipsing around the world and doing things like that, first of all, the amount of content I got was great, but also the number of people who were so supportive and then so excited to be my client because I was somebody in quotation marks. The number of people that like I could post and all I had to say is like, guys, guess what? And post my medal or whatever. I would instantly have so many comments, so many DMs, so many people. And then like, I'd have people being like, I need a book in now because you're going to get so busy now. Or I'd post a magazine cover I'd done, or I would just post a selfie from the car being like, I'm going to go do this course. And I would post a photo of the acrylic pot filled with Mona and be like, fuck. And then you'd get all these people being like, oh no, like, what can we do? Like, at no point if I ever had a client that felt negatively about me using my income to better the service that they got, I was never made aware of it. It was always so much support, a rush to book because they assumed I would be full now, and then people basically bragging that like, oh, well, what do you mean your nail tech doesn't go overseas? Like, no, my nail tech goes to Australia and then comes back and does my nails. Like, there was this like air about it that, so if you ever think that people are going to see that you take their hard-earned money and like invested in a way that they don't agree with, it's not this. Like, people
in a way that makes you happy and joyful.
Yeah.
Do you know, my
Yeah.
clients celebrate me when I have a win or something. Not every single one, but some of the ones that it's their personality type, they'll turn up with a bottle of wine or some flowers or a chocolate, and they'll just be like, that was so cool. And they watch online and they cheer you along.
Yeah.
You
When I had
attracted
my
people.
salon opening, a guy from my old work, he came with his two little daughters and he brought flowers and wine. And I was like,
Aw.
you're not even my like potential client, but it was so cool.
People,
Yeah.
like Jerilee said earlier, people want to see other people succeed.
They do. Even though sometimes it seems like they don't. They really do.
Yeah.
Okay, and also if they don't, like Jerilee said before, like if they don't, they're yuck. But also if they don't, I'm always like, what happened to you?
Yeah,
No one
that's
came
exactly
out
what
of
it
the
is.
womb being like, I hope
Cynical.
everybody sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't be happy, don't do well. I
Yeah.
hope you fail and suffer and feel miserable.
Like, who
That's
hurt
terrible.
you?
Yeah. Yes, who wants that? Nobody. You'll be surrounded by people that want to see you inspired and encouraged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, it is important. And I think when you are trying to do things that you've never done before and grow through, you know, challenging times, the community that you have around you is the thing that keeps you going. It keeps you encouraged, and it really does help, which is why, again, I freaking love Monaco and just support everything that's happening here. I'm actually incredibly flattered to be on this podcast.
I was just about to say, I'm like watching the time being like, holy shit. And I'm like, okay, well, Jerilee, we're obviously going to have you back at some point because
Yes,
like, I don't think
please.
any of us are anywhere near finished, like such a fun conversation. But in the interest of not losing all our listeners, Michal and Christel, like, what are your big takeaways from this conversation as the newer nail techs in the group?
I'll go first.
Through your anxiety and do it anyway.
Always do it anyway. Do it messy.
Yes.
I don't like
Anything that I have done,
messy.
honestly, anything that I have done is not different to you. I'm literally you. I'm just like way more years ahead, but I'm literally you people. Like we're the same.
But that's why
I'm doing
I'm
it
like,
scared.
I'm so inspired, like listening to this, like as we're talking, I'm just like, oh, like maybe I am like doing okay, like, and I just gotta like keep moving, and who knows, I could be where you are one day, like, and
Why
like,
wouldn't you?
yeah, but like we aren't ever sure about what's like gonna happen in the future, but all we can do is like keep moving in that direction and then just take the opportunities as they come. And like that whole thing about like people, you know, seeing you like post about your journeys and that kind of thing. Like when I posted that I became a trophy wife, it was so exciting for people and they like still talk about it. And I'm like, those things, they do keep you going. So it's like you have to like keep finding those opportunities so that like you keep moving.
There's a quote that says the only difference between winners and losers is the winners didn't quit yet.
That's good.
Like me and Jerilee have sucked just as hard as you guys have sucked. We just didn't give up.
Yeah.
And then we tried again and then we sucked again.
But you sucked a little less next time.
Yeah. Well, depends.
It's just different
You
ways.
diversify.
It's different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jerilee, if there is one thing that you would want a newer nail tech listening to this to take away from this conversation, what would it be?
That is a very good question. I think that my main mission is to let newer nail technicians or people that haven't quite reached the industry yet to know that it does exist and that it is like Narnia. And it's amazing when you start to take those first action steps, the wardrobe opens up and there is an entire world of just the most vast, amazing, creative, not only people, but opportunities and experiences. And yeah, so if you are just starting, just beginning, just keep taking the steps, the rest will unfold.
Yeah. It's all there. It's all there for the taking and the sharing.
And the sharing and the collaborating and the supporting.
Yeah. And you just
competition-free zone. I love it.
You have to find your tribe, because anyone that wants to compete and see it as a negative is just not your tribe.
Not at all.
All right. Shout out your fingertips and also comps. How do we find you? How do we support you? How do we do all the things?
Right, so I'm doing it messy, so everything is basically Instagram based and then shared from there. You can find fingertips at fingertips_magazine and the nail competition at NZ Nail Comp. Pretty straightforward, that one.
On Insta.
I had to overthink that. My brain was like, why is this so difficult to say? And it has a website and registration is open, so you can check that out as
When
well.
does registration close?
I have a book right here with all of the dates written down because there's plenty of them. Registration closes on the 1st of April.
Okay, so from time of airing, you have 6 days. Turn off this podcast right now. Actually, listen to the end because it really helps the algorithm. And then once it finishes, go to NZ Nail Comps.
Yep.
Or
.com.
competitions.
NZNailComp.com.
And then register right now because you got 6 days. And if you learn nothing, you have to go register right now. And you can also register for Summit at nailtechsummit.co.nz. That's still open. You can come to that. The FOMO tickets, the early bird tickets are gone, but the FOMO tickets are still available. And with that done and dusted, before you disappear, like our page or follow the podcast so that you don't miss the next episode. We will be back next week with something fresh to chat about, but until then, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube by searching Monaco Nail Academy or follow our salons. Mine is Hard Lacquer NZ.
Mine is Adorn Nail Boutique.
Mine is Christel Blythe Nail Artist, and that's spelled CHRISTEL and BLYTH.
And mine is Jerilee Nail Stylist.
Where are you based, Jerilee?
Hawke's Bay, Hastings.
So we've got Hastings, we've got Fielding. You guys are nearly-ish kind of near, but not really, but like more
Pretty
neighbours
close.
than we are.
Yes.
And then Morrinsville, and then the Coromandel. Alrighty, have a great week, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yay.